Hey guys, so I finally watched Robin Hood. I wanted to see it when it first came out, but I just didn't have the time to go to the cinema. I've now seen the film, I've seen reviews, I've seen a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So let's get into it a bit. Now, when the film first came out, I did want to do an actual video on Robin Hood, the man, the myth, the legend. And I might still actually do that video because it's pretty damn interesting. But this video, this film obviously takes some liberties with history, and yeah, that's going to tie in with a criticism that I have of the film. But from an archery perspective, how was it for everyone that's not seen it? I thought it was pretty good. Now, Robin Hood was a traditional longbow archer. Back in the day, you had to practice archery. That was the law. You'd go to church on Sunday, and after church on Sunday, you would practice. Because if you didn't practice, and there was a war, and we Brits do love a good war, they gave you a spear instead of a bow. And let's face it, you want to go home, so you don't really want to hold a spear. You want to hold one of these. So it swings and roundabouts, because watching the film, I was obviously critical of a lot of different forms. So the fact that I kept seeing this, particularly in the beginning, that irritated me to no end, because Tara, the lead actor, put in amazing time at the range. That man went all out. He really did. So giving him a longbow and seeing him do that quite a bit, that irritated the hell out of me. Elbow up. Also, let's face it, those bows, those long bows, they're war bows. Okay, so they're between 80 and 120 upwards, because you need that to get through armor. See, you're not gonna also run around the way that he was, just like that. It's not gonna happen. You can maybe a little bit of tension, maybe, but even then, that's a lot of tension to hold. But again, creative liberties. So skip forward a little bit where he's getting trained by Jamie Lee Fox, who is awesome in bloody everything. Keeping this as spoiler-free as I can. The whole training montage, yes, there's a montage. Yes, I did just spoil that. Don't really need it with archery, I don't think. But when he's going through and Jamie Fox is teaching him the new way, he did something that I was very, very much afraid they would do, and which really undercuts it. And that is just, instead of putting the arrow on the left, put it on the right. Now this annoyed me so much, because just switching arrow position is useless. You absolutely have to focus on what your shooting hand is doing. Switching the arrow, I draw back with a Mediterranean or 3 under. If I now loose the arrow, it'll go over there. I'm aiming that way, I've gone over there, because I've not changed the grip. If you're going to shoot like that, thumb release. But even more so, again, and this is one of the things that annoyed me with the archery, because Tara put a lot of effort into this. There is a technique where you have the arrow on a typical thumb release side, but you have the cock feather, the index feather, pointing towards the riser. And when you draw back, you keep your index finger on the arrow. This is a very difficult style to master, and it's one that he went through. Now, because of time restraints and things like that, they did say that, I believe it was Lars Anderson, because he had a hand in this, his idea to tuck the little fingering, that made it a little bit easier, but even so, this is an incredibly difficult skill to master. And while you can pick apart left-hand grip or bow hand grip on the actual bow itself and how that changes from a typical Western and European way of shooting to a more Eastern and Asian way of shooting, the right hand really makes the difference. That's what gives the accuracy. That's what doesn't make you lose an arrow. So I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't focus more on that. This is a grip I really do want to experiment with, but like blue bollock hell, am I going to practice new ways of shooting in my flat? So that's going to have to wait till I can get to a field or something like that. So that's the archery. I mean, apart from that, the actual archery in the film was pretty damn good. I mean, it wasn't that standard typical stuff. It wasn't the easy stuff to do, and it wasn't the typical Hollywood lie that, you know, we see elsewhere on shows like Arrow, for example, which just doesn't work. But no, the archery scenes in it were pretty damn good. There was a couple of scenes, I don't think it's that much of a spoiler to tell you that one of the characters, won't name them, but you know, one of them gets shot a couple of times. Now, that would have ended that character. And like, I see it quite a bit where the medieval longbow, the English longbow, was a WMD of medieval times. Well, yes and no. See, it was devastating, but an arrow in the leg or a bolt in the chest might not kill you there and then. Though, you know, that. But an arrow in the leg wouldn't kill you, or a bolt in the leg wouldn't kill you there and then. But they didn't have penicillin. They didn't know what germs were. The infection that would have come later would have killed him. But again, it's a film, it's a movie, it's fantasy. Oh God, is it fantasy? So I'll give a free pass on that. But my biggest criticism of the film and what kept taking me out of it was I don't know when it's set. So Robin of Locksley, the historical figure, fought in the Crusades. He was ordered to by King Richard the Lionheart, the worst king this country has ever had, bar none. And I actually applaud the film for not building the king up. But he was enlisted at order of the king, and whether the king himself has said, I don't think the king himself has said, but he had essentially been promised a small fortune when he returned. So Robin goes off, he goes to the Crusades, he comes back, and nada, doesn't get paid at all. So then he starts hunting the king's deer. And that's how Robin of Locksley began. That's not exactly what happens in the film, but there is still the Crusades. So that's the time period we're in. The biggest outtake, the biggest draw from that film that keeps pulling you out is the clothing. Because while in one scene, one character could be wearing tattered rags and things that would kind of fit, the next, they're obviously wearing something that is very modern made. In fact, the Sheriff of Nottingham has an outfit, and I swear, if you put that guy in that outfit in a film like Equilibrium, a post-apocalyptic sci-fi film, honestly, I would say it fits. And it just kept happening. Some characters would be wearing rags, some characters would be wearing things that they clearly wouldn't have made, and sometimes it was the same character, they just changed outfits. And one more thing that probably few people notice, but I love purple, so I noticed this. One character, an extra, just a random extra playing pauper, was wearing a purple hoodie. Now the hoodie itself, in regards to the film, it fit. It was like all the other hoodies, it was just purple. Purple historically was an incredibly expensive color to get. In fact, there was a king and a queen. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but they lost their entire fortune because they just kept buying purple stuff. It was not something a commoner would wear. In fact, it wasn't something that most kings would wear. You had to have a hell of a lot of clout behind you, and you would spend a hell of a lot of money getting this purple garment or purple fixture or purple whatever, because purple was so damn difficult. And the fact that they just put this random extra in a purple hoodie, the only person throughout the film that I noticed was wearing purple was an extra. Not even one of the rich stuck-up ones. Okay. But again, I mean, if you can get past that, if you can get past the fact that you can't place where they are in history because things keep changing, the fact that the architecture in some places is just way too clean, it's way too advanced for medieval Britain. If you can get past that, then it really is a great film. The cast is absolutely phenomenal, and I, being a massive fan of Tim Minchin, I love the fact that he played a friar. That is fantastic. An outspoken atheist plays a friar. It tickles me. It does tickle me. It also tickles me that his accent kept slipping. No, I love you, Tim. I really do. But that Aussie accent kept coming in and knocking out the English one. But again, I liked it. The cast is great. Jamie Foxx is amazing in everything he does. Tara, man, you got to fix your name because it's so damn hard to remember. But the lead, who was awesome in Kingsman, was pretty damn good in this. Every member of the cast, there was no weak member of the cast. And that's a rarity in films that I find, even in Marvel films. I'm a huge nerd, but that's even a rarity in Marvel films. So this was pretty damn awesome. The only negative thing I had is, as an archer, I wanted them to explain the right hand grip, even at all, but they didn't, and that annoys me because they put a lot of effort. Man, Taggart, I have a lot of respect for that man now and for his archery, because he really did put it in. And it seems like it was just wasted. But no, still, the archery was very good in the film. The scenes were very good in the film. The timing kept getting pulled out because modern clothes mixed with old clothes, just structures that wouldn't have been built in time of the Crusades. But that is the only negatives I have. The cast were great. The story itself was a pretty damn good reimagining of the classic tale of Robin Hood. And I also loved the fact that he actually stole taxes and not just robbed from the rich, because again, that is more historically accurate. Robin of Locksley didn't go around robbing rich people. He stole back the taxes that they had been overcharged with and gave them back to the people. So it was a great film, and I do recommend it. I really do recommend it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to buy that film. That's all I really have to say about it. So, yeah. Not sure if you could make another one, but I definitely enjoyed it.